Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Claw and the King podcast. I'm joined by my co-host, Dopey. How are you today, my friend?
That you are. I'm very, very well today.
I am as well.
Great morning.
It's a fantastic morning. Over in Australia time, obviously, we're in ridiculous time in case of most sports when they're being played. But United was on at a decent time this morning, 7 o'clock. Obviously, he's a fake fan, so he didn't watch it, but I did. And it just finished about a couple hours ago. So, yeah, absolutely fantastic from Man United over Barcelona. Get in there, lads. La Liga's overrated. La Liga's shit. So that's all you want to know. But yeah, a lot has happened basically in the world of sport. You got NBA stuff happening. Obviously, UFC, controversial UFC decisions, and then the F1 and NRL are back. So yeah, lots happening at the moment.
It's all happening. I mean, it's just all happening.
It's all happening.
It's unbelievable, to be honest.
And United are in a Carabao Cup final or a League Cup final, so that's big.
This is the pinnacle of Manchester United.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, we haven't had a trophy in 5 years. I'm going to take it. But yeah, what topic would you like to sort of cover first?
Well, I've got NBA written down first, so we'll start with that.
Okay.
Obviously, should we start with like trade deadline or so?
Let's start with trade deadlines after the All-Star. Was it before? It's changed.
It was before, but then like buyout market and shit.
We'll start with All-Star because that's the
the
easier topic to discuss how crap it was. Probably the worst All-Star game I can recall. But to be fair, all of them have been terrible, especially in recent years. I mean, it was just layup lines. I watched that first quarter, and I was kind of excited to watch it. I wasn't doing anything that day. I was like, you know what? I'm going to sit down, watch the basketball. I'm going to be pumped. It's going to be a great game. The first quarter, I had to turn it off. It was unbelievably embarrassing as a spectacle. I mean, I'm not comparing it to the NRL or anything like that. But you look at our statement games, like the State of Origin, you look at even the Pro Bowl that's gotten so much shit.
They just do flag football, don't they?
Yeah, that's given so much shit by NFL fans, and yet that got way more viewership. I think 22%. I read that it was more viewership than the NBA, and the NBA was an all-time low. It was a terrible game.
I think it was like 30%. Drop off.
I can imagine that most of people that are watching, like myself, turned it off after 6 or 7 minutes. It was atrocious, and it's not just because Giannis and Steph and LeBron were out. It's just because it was a terrible, terrible format, and these players just clearly don't care.
Yeah, I mean, the whole weekend was dreadful, really. I mean...
Well, Mac McClung was okay.
The best part about All-Star Weekend came from a person that wasn't in the NBA.
Yeah, that's embarrassing.
But I mean, if you start with what's the first thing? The celebrity game. No one gives a fuck about that anyway.
There was actually some celebrities in it this time, so I was a bit surprised.
Yeah, Jesser the Laser, my favourite YouTuber.
Yeah, Jesser. It's weird seeing Jesser and, like, I don't know, Drake in the same. I don't know if Drake was there because I didn't really watch it. But yeah, Jesser being around celebrities just didn't really sit right. But yeah, I mean,
imagine Flight in the All-Star game. Oh my god,
he probably was invited, to be fair, but he just couldn't be bothered.
That would be the greatest day of my life. But yeah, I mean that was honestly all right, I guess. And then after that, they do the Rising Stars game. I feel like that wasn't too bad. They've got like this 3-team format now. At least. Jose Alvarado tryhards.
I just couldn't care. Like what are we doing? It's not. We're just making up shit as we go along at this point. I mean, I get 3 games. I mean, what does that even mean? I don't even understand the 3-point contest. Some shockers in there. It was an okay 3-point contest. It wasn't great. Obviously, I think guys like Curry and Clay and those big name 3-point shooters make that contest. But yeah, it was an okay contest. It was just Julius Randle being in it was absolutely laughable, and Kevin Hurdle was awful. I mean, the guy's been on form this year. And what did he get? 8 points or something? Bro, you've got fucking 100 money balls. How do you get 8 points? I could get 8. I honestly believe I could have got what he got.
Yeah, on a good day, maybe.
Yeah, on a good day, I could get 8. That's not even a joke. He was awful. And that's just not slanting Kevin Hurdle, but I just think it was a mediocre 3-point contest, and then the dunk contest. I mean, Mac McClung was the only guy that... I mean, Jericho Sims, buddy. In terms of imagination, do you reckon he's...
He dunked twice, didn't he?
If they did like a test of NBA
We're
players,
not related, by the way, so...
Yeah.
I don't take any responsibility.
Well, okay. If they did an IQ test and imagination test, if there could be one, of NBA players, where do you reckon Jericho Sims would rank? I'm guessing bottom. But
his
he did the elbow dunk. No one thinks that's impressive anymore. Even if you, I kind of did an elbow.
His first one, he did something for the double elbow, didn't he?
No, but that was his first one. But he got one in, but he got his hand on the other, and then he just stuck it. Yeah, just stuck it in.
And then he celebrated like he put them both in. He was like, "Watch the replay,
And then the other
guys."
one, he did a elbow dunker as well, and then he tore like a 50 thing off, but it ripped in half, and it said 0. So that was funny, but yeah, I mean that was embarrassing, and the rest, I mean, they were all right. God,
I mean, like Trey Murphy, he can jump high, but I don't feel like he's got good dunks.
Yeah, well, you hear a lot of comments coming out from like people in the sports or the NBA space saying that it should be open not just to the NBA, to everyone, so you can get a better quality dunk contest. I don't agree with that. I think that it should be the stars should be dunking. I think everybody wants to see the best players doing the most crazy dunks. Yeah.
Like that already exists. You can watch dunk contests around the world.
Yeah, you can watch. There's TV shows. Remember that blue-haired guy that did that? You can watch that. But the NBA dunk contest should be between the NBA's best dunkers, and the best dunkers are either in the G League or playing for superstar teams, and they don't want to risk injury. So yeah, it's a bit concerning for the future of that sort of Saturday night, because I think Saturday night was way better than Sunday night anyway.
Well, I mean, the skills challenge as well. That was abysmal.
Oh God!
Can we stop getting the Acampo brothers in the skills challenge?
They're not skillful.
They're fucking awful.
Like get the Holiday brothers. It's passable. Like you can get Justin Holiday, Aaron Holiday, Drew Holiday. Like they're kind of skillful. Okay, so you got Acampo.
Yeah.
Who's obviously one of the best players in the league. I mean, Giannis.
And his other brothers are in the league because they're Giannis' brother.
No, his other brother couldn't even get in the league. I think he's in the G League somewhere. And then his Thanasis. I mean, do you think he'd get an NBA team? Do you think he'd be on another NBA team if his brother wasn't the superstar? He's terrible. And yeah, just so many bricks. The rookies were awful. I mean, I could have been a rookie. I mean, the amount of shots they were missing.
I think they've fucked up the format. Like that passing one is just so boring. Who cares about that passing?
Oh, let's go ring around a Rosie and pass it into a hoop.
The skills challenge used to be somewhat cool back in the day. Yeah, and like they used to have stars doing it. I remember D-Rose did it back in the day.
Well, I didn't mind it a couple of years ago when they did like it was a 1-on-1. And they had to do, there was, they
like
had
a race.
Yeah, it was like a race. I didn't mind that. I thought that was a good format. But they just try and come up with new things every year to try and make it.
I think individuals are better than like the 3-team thing.
Yeah, it's just like, well, who cares? So yeah, that was bad. But I mean, the skills, everyone no one's looking forward to the skills challenge, let's be real. But yeah, the dunk contest was pretty bad outside Mac McClung, who's a great dunker. But again, you want to see guys like John Morant. You want to see guys
Anthony
like
Edwards.
Yeah, Anthony Edwards. You want to see these big boy dunkers who are also unbelievable talents do it. But they just don't want to do it because they risk.
I think it's just this generation. They've grown up differently because they've been protected their whole lives. It's all about getting to the NBA.
Yeah.
Because like 10 years ago, Dwight Howard, all these guys, the best players in the league, were still doing it. John Wall, Blake Griffin.
Yeah.
Like all these guys were doing it even 10 years ago, but for some reason now it's stopped.
Yeah, there's no pride in it anymore, which is the bad thing, really. So, yeah, look, Aaron Gordon, obviously, in saying that, also guys like Aaron Gordon and Zach LaVine, and Zach LaVine's a star as well. So I think that he should be in the dunk contest again. I don't think he would be, but yeah, I think that even so, yeah, Zach LaVine, a decent player, very good player who's got bunnies.
But he's at least done it before.
Yeah, and he's a great player, but you've got to get those echelon of players. Like shock here, maybe great dunkers are good players as well. So yeah, you've got to include those best players in there. And Trey Murphy and Jericho Sims. I mean,
who was the other one?
Did anyone care? I think it was like
it was Kenyon Martin.
Yeah, Kenyon Martin. I mean, he looks okay, but he just I think he missed on or whiffed on a couple of them. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of the dunk contest as it currently stands. People say change the format. I think it was weird how they scored it. I like when it's 10s. Because it was like so specific because everybody rated them a 50. So you had to rate
they averaged it?
No, so every judge rated them out of 50. So they added 50.
Instead of just doing 10s. Yeah, that's weird.
But yeah, but the main sort of the All-Star game is supposed to be the main show, and the fact that was terrible, it just dampens the whole weekend, and they need to change it immediately.
I mean, when the coach of the game is saying that's the worst thing I've ever watched in my life, it's probably not a good look.
And I did call it on the podcast I don't know if it was a couple episodes ago, I believe it was, regarding the All-Star game and saying, look, it should be adopt the NRL stand, or the NRL sort of rules and regulations where the players represent the teams from where they're from, or the East or West, depending on where they're born and where they went to high school. I think that creates a lot more, pride in the All-Star game, a lot more sort of wanting to represent your side. So if you're from New York, you want to represent New York. If you're from LA, you want to represent LA. I feel like that drives it a lot more. But I mean, even then, I still think these players wouldn't care that much, but they've got to figure out some sort of solution.
Yeah, they have to do something. I mean, they've tried this quarter form. They've tried using charity to try and get them to play for the charity, with this quarter format. But obviously, they don't care about that. I don't really like how the score resets every quarter and then it just adds up at the end and it's plus 24. Like, I get it's for Kobe, that's cool.
But that was a good memorial thing for him when he passed away, obviously. Yeah. But it's a couple years on now. Like the format's getting old.
Yeah, and the fourth quarter is 5 minutes. It's done because they scored 24 points, just like that. Yeah. There's no defense. So
that was embarrassing as well. The fourth quarter, you got to win the game, and you're just letting them run by you.
I know. I was like, dude, they need 1 point. Make them try for the last bucket.
It's just you sort of anticipate that they're going to start trying at some point, but they never do, and. Yeah, it's just embarrassing. So, yeah.
Well, the first few years, the last quarter was intense. I mean, I remember last year, LeBron hit that fadeaway game winner, and it was close.
Yeah.
Usually the last quarter has been close in these games, but this year was just awful the entire game. I mean, it was almost unwatchable how pathetic it was.
What do you think are some solutions for the NBA in terms of the All-Star game?
I really have no idea because the players are just so steadfast in not giving a fuck about it. So
what if it was a one-on-one tournament?
I mean, I feel like that's more like a Saturday night thing, though.
Yeah, it could be, but I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, I think that's what people came away from that saying we need a 1v1 tournament because of the Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum moments. So I think that would definitely be cool, but I want to see an All-Star game, a competitive All-Star game. So I really don't know. I think it just has to come from the players going, look, do we have any respect for ourselves because we look like idiots right now?
But they don't care because everyone roasts them on Twitter for a day, and then the NBA starts getting, then it starts to matter, and it's just BS.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Apart from just putting money on the line, I don't know what they could do.
I don't know.
Or just, I don't know.
There's just so much player.
Not work.
There's just so much player. I think I enjoy the draft, but there's just so much player power in the NBA, especially, that they basically run over the league. They can do whatever they want. They understand that stars make the money. So yeah, it's a bit sad, but it is what it is.
They're not making as much money as they used to. So
they're making decent money in terms of in terms of playoffs and finals. But in terms of the All-Star weekend, definitely not. So moving on from that terrible showing, we'll go to the sort of the trade deadline moves. I didn't even realize it was a trade deadline. I was like, we put out the last podcast, and then the next day,
the day later, everything.
It was like, oh god, great. So yeah, there's a couple moves that happened that were quite interesting, especially from my team's perspective. A couple from your team's perspective as well that a lot of people liked, even though you gave away a first round pick. Was it 2027 where you'll probably be bad because LeBron will retired by then? But again, it's in the future. I mean,
AD and D'Lo got him for 10 years.
That's what the Nets thought. Those are future picks when they got Paul Pierce and KG, but it turns into Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. But it is what it is. You can't control that. So yeah, what were your sort of main trades that you noticed straight off the bat?
Well, obviously Phoenix getting Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
That's obviously quite big. Brooklyn officially rebuilding, I guess, even though they're still kind of competitive just because they have a lot of good role players. But Phoenix, a lot of pressure comes on them now. Everyone's saying, Chris Paul, can you finally do it, or are you actually just trash? So
I don't think anyone said he's trash apart from Pat Bev, but I think that it's a massive blemish on his resume. Look, he's not the player that he was from even a year or two ago. So I don't think he is going to be the main sort of source. But
but this is for him.
I think the Devin Booker thing. I think it's more for Devin Booker as well. If Devin Booker can't win with Kevin Durant, Chris Paul and DeAndre Ayton, I think it's a terrible sort of look on his legacy as a whole. And look, he's a young guy, but I mean, people compared him to Kobe early on in his career, and
he's not that young anymore.
Well, he came into the league really young. I remember he came into the league when he was like 18 or something. So, yeah, look, I rate Devin Booker, but I just don't rate him as high as some other people, and I don't think they'll win. I have a gut feeling that they'll choke.
The thing is, it's a collection of good players, but like Kevin Durant outside of the Warriors has failed in the playoffs. Chris Paul, his entire career has failed in the playoffs, and Devin Booker has failed in the playoffs. So
DeAndre Ayton doesn't want to be there. So yeah, and the role players have gone. Mikal Bridges is a very, very good player that I think was underutilized in Phoenix, to be honest. You watch him play for Brooklyn right now. He's doing step back jumpers. He's posting up. He's doing everything. He was he played unbelievably for the Nets before the All-Star break. So yeah, it's a bit of an interesting one, but
I remember on the last episode we were talking about like the rumors of this trade, and you said they would have to give up Aiden. I said they would have to give up CP. They ended up keeping both of them. So I mean, there really is no excuse.
But again, I would rather give up Ayton than Mikal Bridges. I think even though
but you need a center. I mean,
yeah, but Mikal Bridges, and I get Mikal Bridges probably a similar profile to Kevin Durant, so that's why they got rid of him instead of Ayton. But I think Ayton's not a better player than Mikal Bridges, and I think if I'm the Nets, I'm happy with Mikal Bridges over DeAndre Ayton for sure. But yeah, look, they get also Cameron Johnson they got rid of. I think they lost a lot of their depth, which is going to be key.
Crowder, even though he didn't play, but
Jay Crowder, yeah, but who cares? Yeah, they lost a lot of their depth, so it's going to be very interesting to see if again these guys can stay healthy as well. Kevin Durant is injury prone. Chris Paul is very old. Devin Booker was out for a significant portion of the season. DeAndre Ayton's a big man, so they always tend to get injured. So, yeah, you never know. So, hopefully, they stay healthy because you don't want an injury-ridden playoffs. But, yeah, everyone thinks it's going to be a cakewalk. Everyone thinks they're the favourites. Now, I don't believe that. I think there are a lot of good teams in the West.
No, I wouldn't have them nailed on favourites, but I think there's definitely... I wouldn't be surprised if they win.
Well, yeah, no one would be surprised. But no one would be surprised if the Clippers won, you know.
Yeah.
Especially with our recent... But we'll get into that recent acquisition. Is there another sort of trade move?
We can talk Lakers. Obviously, we get D'Angelo Russell. And
yeah, we got him finally.
The return of the king. Thank you. D'Angelo, you were so good the first time around. Thank you for
coming
back.
You snitched on your teammate when he was having intercourse with another woman behind his partner's back.
Yeah, well, still, who cares? He's good now. We got Malik Beasley, good shooter, and Jared Vanderbilt, a good defender. Mo Bamba, the biggest one-hit wonder of the 2010s. We get him.
But you lost Thomas Bryant, which was an interesting.
We lost Thomas Bryant, but he wanted to fuck off apparently.
No,
so.
He wanted game time, and he's like, you know, what will give me game time if I sit behind Jokic. Yeah, no, buddy, I think you'll get more game time of the Lakers.
He probably didn't ask for Denver. The Lakers were like, "Fuck you, mate, go to Denver."
Yeah, unlucky, buddy. So yeah, and who else did they lose?
They lost Pat Bev, which is a great loss. That guy's trash. Thank God.
Good defender.
Not anymore. Then who else did we lose? Did we lose anyone?
Russ.
Oh yeah, true. We lost Russell Westbrook. So, I mean, just the improvements are there to see. It's almost night and day. We've seen this team play one game so far, and they looked incredible. They're playing Golden State today. We'll see how that goes. The problem is they've left themselves a lot of work to do. They're still 5 games under 500. So.
With a lot of good teams in the West that improved as well.
Yeah, so the work, I think we can get a playing game. The 6th seed might be a little.
Oh yeah, you won't get. I don't think you can get a playoff game or a playoff seed. Sorry.
Yeah, but if we can manage to get in the playoffs, for sure, we're a threat if healthy.
Well, look, I think those players make you better. But do I think that you beat a legitimate playoff team? With those players, do those players push you over a legitimate playoff team? I don't believe so.
I think we beat Memphis, Sacramento.
Yeah, but and saying that, I think the playing teams are better than those. I mean, if you're coming up in the playoffs, do you want Denver, Memphis, or Sacramento, or do you want some of the plethora of talent that you've got in the playing game in the lower playoff seeds? Yeah,
it's weird. It's almost like the bottom four's better than the top 4.
Well, on paper, yeah. But look, I have a tough time believing that Lakers could make a serious push, and obviously the Clippers picked up a couple pieces. A couple moves I actually liked, and look, I think we needed to get streamlined. I thought we had too much talent. We had too many players, too many good players on the roster that were getting overpaid. Luke Kennard, I liked him. I thought he was a decent player, but you can't pay $64 million for a guy that's getting 15 minutes a game. You just can't do it.
Well, yeah, you brought in some bad players, so that helps even that
Well,
out.
I don't think we brought in bad players.
Oh, one bad player.
Well, we brought in one bad player, but I think the other three were. I think the trades that we made were half decent. Now we lost a couple of decent players, but I don't think they were that big of a loss. I think you bring in Plumlee, who's looked really, really good for the Clippers starting off. I know that's a bad thing, but we needed a backup center. We had no backup center. I want to preface that.
What about Boogie Cousins?
We don't have him, and
yeah,
he couldn't jump over that. See that little mat on the floor? They couldn't jump over that. And Zubac can barely jump over that. So we needed some athleticism in that position, and Plumlee is athletic, no matter what you say. Okay. Eric Gordon, he was in a dunk contest, all right? Give him a break. He had like a 40-inch vertical, okay? Calm down. So Eric Gordon, former Clipper, coming back to the Clippers, I think is a good vet. He can shoot the ball. He's a bit...
Sometimes.
He's a bit inconsistent, but he's a good vet. He can play good defense. He's been in a shocking team for such a long time now. So hopefully he can sort of catch his groove with the Clippers. And then also Bones Highland, who was my favorite pickup. He's a young point guard. I think he's second or third year in the league. His efficiency isn't great from the field. I think he's around 40% from the field, which isn't great. But as a playmaker, you look at his dribbling and his skills, offensive skill set, it's really, really good. And hopefully we can develop him into a really good player. So I really like that move personally. Now the one that I didn't like was the Russell Westbrook one. I probably roasted that guy's. I obviously doesn't know who I am, but if he did and he watched some of my videos on him, I don't think he'd be too pleased with me. He's not a. I just don't think he's a good player.
You made the argument at the start of the year that he's worse than Ben Simmons.
He is.
You still believe that?
Yeah.
I think he's a lot better than Ben Simmons, but he's still awful.
I think Ben Simmons is a better defender than him. I think he offer you more. Look, in terms of stats this season and performance this season, obviously Russell Westbrook is better. But the question was, who would you rather have, Russell Westbrook or Ben Simmons? And I said Ben Simmons, because at least you've got youth on his side, at least you've got defensive abilities, at least you've got a prospect of this turning out well. You've got no prospect of Russell Westbrook turning out well. There's just no chance in hell that he's ever going to become a good player again. And look, he was a fantastic player throughout his prime. But right now, he's a turnover machine that cannot shoot, that cannot pass efficiently. He's athletic, and he can crash the offensive rebound.
You can barely even dunk these days.
He can crash the offensive rebound. Good on him. Yay.
He tries hard, guys.
Tries hard. We need rebounding, so at least we got that. But, I mean, crap. He just turns the ball over so much, and I can just imagine, because we've got a lot of microwave shooters in the team, and if you don't know what that means, it means you can get hot really quick, but you also get cold. And I can just imagine a playoff game where we've got Russ, PG, Kawhi, and they're just going through, and Eric Gordon, and
it's going to turn into ISO, like your turn, my turn.
Yeah, it's just it's an ISO. It's just enforcing the ISO philosophy, which sucks, and that never works unless you've got friggin' LeBron James or prime Kobe.
It's literally just going to be the OKC team, but just Kawhi's replacing Melo.
I can't believe that we did it. Well, I can believe, because I knew it was going to happen as well. When friggin' Nick Batum was in press conference say, I was the worst player in the league once, and they never counted me out.
Paul George has to be the last Westbrook fan on the planet. I mean,
yeah,
apparently
Paul George was recruiting him, bro. You don't need to recruit him. You need to say, I got...
No one wants him.
I got hot dinner in the back. You can get paid nothing. How about you come for a visit?
Yeah, apparently Kawhi wasn't sold on it, which is fair enough. He shouldn't be sold on it.
Good thing.
But then PG was like, nah, he's really good. He's good. He's a good teammate as well. So
wow, he's a great teammate. That's so great. Don't you love great teammates? I could be a great teammate if you paid me enough. If you pay me Russell Westbrook's salary, I'd be the best teammate in the world. So why don't the Clippers get me? I'm free. I'm available. Why don't you get me if I'm such a great teammate? So it's just a stupid thing to say to sort of hype up a player that's terrible. No one says, LeBron James, great teammate. Ja Morant, great teammate. No one says that because they're great players. Only shit players get fucking shit compliments like that to bump up their fucking stock, and it sucks because he sucks. And
do you reckon? If he's playing shit, do you reckon Ty Lue benches him?
Again, he's got such a big ego. It's like
because they're going to start him apparently.
I know. It's like, and people are, well, he played well for the Wizards. Like, bro, he sucked at the start of the year.
He plays well on teams where he's the only guy that has the ball.
Yeah, which is not the case because we've got 5 other players better than him, and I'm including the training staff. So, yeah, I had no word. I just knew it was coming, and I was, please, Miami, please get him. And then they got Kevin Love, and I was like, great. What lovely. That means he's coming to us. So, yeah, that's just terrible news. I don't think we're winning. But, hey, Man United are back, so who cares?
So you think your season's over because of this?
I thought it was already hanging on a knife edge, but there's no way that you win a championship with Russell Westbrook playing significant minutes for your team. There's just no way. So, yes, I have zero faith that we will win a championship.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's a laughably bad decision. I mean, Steve
no
Ballmer,
one rates
is that his
it.
name? Steve Ballmer? What are you doing, mate?
But it's not him. It's just, again, the Clippers embody this player power sort of movement in the NBA where every player gets the power. They get to choose. They make all the off-season moves. They do everything. They get to sign the contract when and how much they want. It's just influenced by, you can clearly tell it's influenced by the senior players in that team to get Russell Westbrook. And no actual Clippers fan. Now, obviously, you got to support him when he's here, but no Clippers fan genuinely wanted him. Every single time. And look, he's had decent games for the Lakers this season, especially off the bench. He was front runner for 6th man of the year. But
we weren't winning those games.
But, yeah, but there was other problems. I don't think it's Russ's fault directly, but yeah, I just think it's a terrible move for us. I just don't rate him as a player anymore. And people just have this false sort of notion about him in the media because they don't watch basketball. And they just, it's Russell Westbrook, he's a big name. It's like, no, but he sucks. So, yeah, it was an up and down sort of couple of weeks for Clippers fans. But, look, we played well before the All-Star break. I don't think we will after with Russell Westbrook, but hey, at least he's happy. He's smiling in the photos. He's like, yes, get in there.
Yes.
I'm a Clipper. Like,
I didn't have to move house. Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably what he was thinking. He's like, I don't have to move. I think it was also a revenge on the Lakers. Like, imagine if he wins a championship with the Clippers. Yeah, that would be the funniest
also
thing.
Why it's going to fail, because his ego is going to be too much. So he's like, I'm going to be the one to beat the Lakers. But if he tries he's
not going to play the Lakers because they're not going to be in the playoffs. Okay, so well, he's not thinking that.
Whatever.
But if he was to win even if he didn't play, if he won a championship with the Clippers, he'd just and he could have a championship parade in LA without the Lakers. That'd be funny. Like, I think he's motivated to do that. I think that's probably the sole reason why he stayed. But look, stayed in LA. Sorry. So yeah, a couple of up and down moves, a lot of movement in the NBA trade deadline, and hopefully the Clippers can advance, but again, I have zero faith in them. Well, I shouldn't have any faith in them anyway, but hey.
Yeah, you shouldn't. Yeah, oh well. I guess we'll leave it there unless there's any other moves or things you want to talk about.
Not really. Nobody really cares about anything else. The East got worse, great. So the West got even better, fantastic, lovely. You love to see it. People say the East is better. It's like, no, it's not. You've got...
Well, the best teams in the East are better, but then
you've got
the West is way deeper.
Terrible teams in like the play-in games and the lowest seed of the playoffs. So, yeah, it's a tricky one, but it is what it is. I think, obviously, the Bulls picking up Pat Bev, obviously, after you.
Great pickup.
Great pickup. I mean, they're in the mud. Lonzo Ball's out for the... I watched them the other day. They were horrendous. They got beat by 25 points off a Bucks team without Giannis.
Yeah.
And Chris Middleton. That is...
Well, DeMar wasn't playing, but...
That's embarrassing. How do you do that? That team sucks without Giannis. They literally were playing Pat Connaughton 40 minutes and they lost.
I don't know. But yeah, the Bulls have fucked it completely. I don't know why they should have blown it up. What are they doing getting better?
Because they brought all those players in so recently. So you're like, well, you've got to keep it together now. But again, I predicted it when I said it on this podcast. I said, there's no point in the Bulls doing this. Why did they get Vucevic? Why did they get DeRozan? They're not going to be competing for titles. Nobody thinks they're competing for titles. And they're just going to be stuck in mediocrity. They're going to be stuck in a playing game or a lower playoff seed. They're not going to get any good picks. And they're just going to be they're just going to be mediocre for so long. You're either winning, or you're either competing for championships, or you're losing for draft picks. That's it in the NBA. If you're stuck in the middle, you're the worst team in the NBA. It's better to be the worst team in the NBA, legitimately, than it is to be the Bulls right now. I'd rather be the worst team in the NBA than the Bulls. But yeah, obviously Pat Bev's I don't know why he went, but hey.
Apparently he could have gone to the Warriors, but he chose the Bulls.
Yeah, I think it's because he realised that he wouldn't get any minutes if he went to because Gary Payton got traded there. I don't think they got Steph Curry. I don't think he get any minutes on the Warriors, and I think the Bulls would play him. So it's what it is. But moving on.
All right. Do you want to chat a bit more about Man United?
We can do. So obviously Man United winning today against Barcelona. Fantastic performance. Especially in the second half. First half, that penalty was a friggin' joke. Okay, Bruno touches Baldy's friggin' arm, and he falls to the ground. And people say, "Well, he hooked it." No, he was falling down, and he dragged Bruno's arm with him. There is no way that was a penalty. It was a bullshit decision. De Gea nearly saves it, which was half decent, but he didn't. So there we go. But I think Barcelona, even though they played well in that half, they didn't have a peep. They didn't have a single chance other than that penalty. So yeah, I wasn't really worried at that point because I felt our defense was playing really well and our midfield was playing well. To a certain extent, I thought Fred was a bit sloppy in the first half, but second half, Fred was terrific. Everybody in the team was terrific, frankly. Rashford, he was a bit I'm an R today. It wasn't fantastic, but
calm down.
Yeah, but it's like he's scored in like the past 20 games or something. It's ridiculous. So yeah, fantastic equaliser by Fred. But it wasn't the best connection in the world, but we'll take it. But it was really crucial to get that goal early. You can't sort of wait for it and then try and get the equaliser later on, because then you're just aiming for an equaliser. And it was important that we got it done in regular time as well, because we've got a cup final in 2 days' time. So those players needed the rest. They couldn't go through extra time. That would be really, really detrimental to those key players. I just thought the whole defence was fantastic. Varane was unbelievable in that game. Martinez, Casemiro, the usual suspects were fantastic. And then obviously Anthony's goal. Again, he can be absolutely terrible sometimes, but he can score worldies. He'll score absolute worldies.
Yeah, first time on the edge of the box.
That left foot.
Nice finish.
By the way, speaking of worldies, did you see Di Maria's goal?
No.
Oh my God.
This
it was
morning.
the craziest thing. It literally curled it from 30 yards out, curled it round the post. It was the craziest goal you'll ever see. It just curled it so much into the top corner. So yeah, anyway, but Anthony's got a foot like that, left foot like that. He is crazy on his left foot. Doesn't have a right foot, but it is what it is. He put it away really nice. He's actually a really underrated finisher, especially from long range. So yeah, it was fantastic from him. And yeah, we hung out. Again, Varane made a crucial goal line clearance in the 93rd minute or something.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
So that was really important. So yeah, I saw that on the 2 minute highlights. I saw that 2 minute highlights. But yeah, fantastic. Look, people are sort of going at Man United saying, "Oh, it was just the round of 32, bro. What are you celebrating for?" It's like we beat Barcelona, who are top of their league. They've conceded 7 goals in the Liga all season, which is a bit sus. That just shows how shit La Liga is. I mean, we scored 4 goals in 2 games against them. They conceded 7 all season. So you talk about La Liga being in the mud. Yeah, it was a great sort of win for us and great momentum sort of boost ahead of that Newcastle Cup game on the weekend.
It's against Newcastle. The final.
It is. Tough game at Wembley.
They're on for the treble.
We're on for the quadruple.
The quadruple? What else is there?
So we're in
FA
Carabao Cup, FA Cup, Premier League, Europa League. I'll take a trip.
It's like a poor man's.
Oh yeah,
treble.
it's well, it's not a poor man's. It's really a domestic treble with a Europa League on top of it. So yeah, it's obviously I'd love to win the quadruple. You can't call it. I'd love to win a quadruple. You can't say the quadruple because that's just a bit. You got to include the Champions League in that, but. Yeah, it's going to be tough. We have a lot of games and we don't have a very deep squad, but hopefully some guys will step up. Sabitza's been really good who we've brought in. Wout Weghorst is slower than anything.
Yeah, he's awful.
He got brought up. He's a great presser.
He hasn't even scored, has he?
Yeah, but he has. He's a great presser, which is such a
Well, you know you're good
stat.
if that's your main skill.
It's not great, and he's very slow. He's so
How can he be
slow.
a good presser if he's slow?
Because he just runs a lot. He's not slow over like a sprint, but like his acceleration, like on FIFA, his sprint speed would be like 75, but his acceleration would be 27. You know, he has no acceleration.
Right.
He can't. Once he gets going, he's 6'6", so he's like a horse. You know, once he gets going, once he gets in full flight, you know, you're settled. But starting off, he's a bit dodgy. Yeah. Look, I hope Martial can get back as soon as possible. Martial is really, really solid in Ten Hag's system. Even though he's injured all the time, we need him because he's a much better option than Weghorst. But yeah, hopefully we win on the weekend and can top off a great week for Man United. And Arsenal are still in that competition, but we've probably knocked out the favourites for it. Barcelona obviously doing well in La Liga, so they were the favourites for it. So one less major team to beat. Hopefully we get I want an easy draw in the next round.
Juventus.
No, I can't get Juventus. I think we got.
Why?
I don't know. It's something because they also qualify through this way as well. I think we can't get those teams. I'm pretty sure it's like we can get some Liga teams, some really dodgy teams. Hopefully we can get a really dodgy team because I just don't. I don't want to. I want to rest all my players. I want McSauce to play in that midfield. You know, I want just to rest them.
McSauce.
To rest them as much as possible.
He doesn't get a run anymore?
Oh. No, he played from the 89th minute onwards today. So good on him. Good on him.
Keep the legs fresh.
Yeah, he looks like a great player in that midfield. No, he's terrible. But anyway, moving on.
Moving on. We can talk about...
You want to just open your password there? You just showed your password to the whole world right there.
They couldn't see it. NRL season is back. First game next Thursday, round 1. The hype is real. It's the point of the year. Like February for me is like where I just get a craving, where I just want to watch footy on the weekend because it's like on Thursday night, Friday night.
Oh yeah, how was the trial game though? You know the preseason game that you played against St. Helens, was it? Was that the one that you watched?
Yeah, I went to that game.
He invited me last minute, and I was like, I don't really want to go to Penrith Park to watch. Yeah,
that's why I didn't invite anyone because I knew that they would all say no. So
and then they lost, and I was like, damn, I should have said yes.
Well, it went to Golden Point, so it was exciting.
That would have been absolutely hilarious to walk. I would have just been like, oh, swivel on it, you friggin' dodgy Penrith.
Well, it was pouring with rain, so we were just sitting there getting saturated because we didn't bring an umbrella or a raincoat or anything.
Even better. Everyone's just sad and depressed in the rain.
Yeah.
Is there any cover in? Surely they can't.
There is cover. But
they can't fund cover. Surely
there is cover. There's not in the back rows, but we were.
You play in a shed, right? You don't.
No,
you don't play in a stadium.
It's actually a good building. It's a good.
It's a building. Is it? I thought it was just an open field.
No,
I thought they just went down to Queen's Park and said, "Hey,
it's a stadium.
That one looks good. Let's."
There was like
10 fans around there.
13,000 there, I think, which is a pretty good turnout for a preseason game.
Well, again, they got nothing to do over there, so it's like their only form of entertainment. I wouldn't gas it up too much, but yeah, preseason obviously, a couple sort of interesting developments. Josh Reynolds making the 30 for the Bulldogs, which was a great story, I think.
I mean, yeah, but he's shit. So,
but who cares? I mean, it's a great story. The guy's getting an NRL contract. He was written off. You know, if you know the Josh Reynolds story, you know some of the dodgy stuff that happened with his ex-bird, which wasn't too nice on her part. He was a lovely bloke, but she wasn't allegedly. But yeah, obviously his story, and he's coming back to the NRL, and it's great that he gets sort of a leadership opportunity in the Bulldogs. So that's a good story, and yeah, well, it's getting closer to it. And do you have any favourites other than the Panthers? Who are you worried? If as a Panthers fan, obviously you're 2-time back-to-back champions. Only the Roosters and Broncos have done it before. I emphasise Roosters. Is there a team that worries you as a Panthers fan? Is there a team?
Well, look, I think we're favourites again. Everybody,
but like I said, is there a team that worries you?
I'm getting there. Everyone's saying after the World Cup challenge, especially because we lost to a Super League team, everyone's saying, "Ooh, this could be it. This could be the fall off," which I like because
you lost Kick Out. Kick Out was
we lost Kick Out. We lost Coruscant.
You lost your two best players.
But in that game, Liam Martin didn't play. Dylan Edwards didn't play.
Oh God, Dylan Edwards didn't play. What a travesty.
He's literally one of the best players in the league. So,
said no one ever.
I mean, a lot of people say that now.
Literally, Dylan Edwards is the best player in the league.
Clive Churchill
you heard it
Clive Churchill medal.
You heard it.
Clive Churchill medal.
You heard it. Yeah, because the other team sucked. That's not his fucking.
Well, he was the best player on our team. Okay,
yeah.
But I mean, people are saying the Roosters, because they obviously have unlimited money restrictions. They've just signed a winger for $500,000.
Jackson Paulo.
No, the guy from the Knights, Dom Young.
Is he coming in this season? I don't think he's coming in this season.
They want him this season, but he's meant to come next season. But you've just signed him. Obviously, Brandon Smith is the big guy for this year.
I'm praying for him. I think he's going to be really good player. I've loved the Chiefs.
Honestly, I don't rate him as an 80-minute hooker. So
good. Okay, whatever.
I think Connor Watson's a big loss. I think.
How long is he out for?
Like pretty much the whole season.
Yeah, that's a big loss. I love Connor, but I think they're quite similar players though. But yeah, I've loved the Chiefs for a very long time. He's a fantastic player. You love to have in your club. And hopefully he can transition to hooker full time.
I'd rather have Mitch Kenny. So
you'd rather have Mitch Kenny. Wow.
Yeah.
Said no whatever. See, this is the delusion of a Panthers fan. They can't see out of their black tinted glasses.
I mean, Brandon Smith he gets injured a lot. So
he gets injured. Yeah, because he's a dog. He's got that dog in him.
Okay. Who else is a threat? I mean,
Cowboys maybe?
Cowboys, no.
You don't see the Cowboys? Sharks?
Sharks. I like the Sharks just because of Moise. He's looking great. It's nice to see everyone come round to him finally. Obviously, I was on him from the dawn of time. So,
have you heard the Parramatta Mitch Moses sort of saga where apparently the Tigers offered him a crazy
1.3? Yeah, they offered him 1.3 and he took 1.25 to stay. So, like, wow, what a pay cut! You're such a hero.
To be fair, I think most people would make that decision, but.
Yeah, so apparently I don't know if it's apparently, but people are saying he maybe was always going to stay at the Eels, but he just said to them, look, I'm looking at 1.3 from the Tigers. Can you get as close to it as possible just to make the Eels bump their offer up?
Yeah, which the Eels needed to do. They can't afford to lose him.
But Mitch Moses, is he worth 1.25
Kalen Ponga worth 1.3?
No.
So
Mitch Moses isn't worth 1.25.
He's worth what his value is. He's worth what other teams are willing to pay for him.
Well, Cam Munster's on like 950.
Yeah,
telling me he's 300 more than Munster?
Than Munster.
You're telling me he's worth 300k more than Munster?
No, but again, that's different situations. I think Munster took a heavy pay cut to stay with the Storm because he loves the Storm. I think Mitch Moses was open to going somewhere else if it meant he got more money. And it turns out
I think you're just fucking yourself because you're not going to win he's not going to win you a comp.
Yeah, but the NRL is different to the NBA. They're not making tens of millions of dollars where they can afford to take a pay cut. They're making obviously very good money, but they're not making elite money. And elite athlete money really. So they need to take every sort of big contract that they can because their career only lasts a certain time period. So you need to take the best money you can. So I don't think anyone should hate on him for taking the money at Parramatta and say, well, no, I'll take a pay cut, guys.
No, I'm not saying it's his fault. I'm saying Parramatta shouldn't be offering him that.
Yeah, but what is their plan of succession if they don't get him?
I don't know.
What do they invest
Develop
in?
someone.
But they've never... The problem is people forget how bad Parramatta were before Brad Arthur and Mitch Moses got to town. I think his impact on that team, even though he's inconsistent sometimes, he's still a very, very good player. And he's an Origin caliber. If he was good Queensland, he'd played 10 Origins by now. So I think 10 Origin games. You don't think he would have?
He's not getting in over Munster and Cherry Evans.
I think he gets in over Cherry Evans every day.
You don't think? Captain.
Do you think he's a better player than Cherry Evans?
I think he is, but I think Cherry Evans is the captain, so he's first picked. No. So it doesn't matter.
Well, he wouldn't be a captain. I think they pick Mitch Moses over Cherry Evans.
Maybe this year, but I don't think the.
But yeah, anyway, that's not his hypothetical. I still think he's an Origin caliber player, and as much as it sort of may be an overpay in the future, if you've got an Origin caliber half, you've got to hold on to him for as long as you can and sort of try and fit him. If you overpay for him, that's fine. You've got to find bargains in other sort of areas of the field. So look, I think Parramatta can compete this year.
What?
I know they lost Papali'i, but
and Mahoney.
I know, but I still think they'll be in the 8 and they'll be competing in the 8. A lot of people are hyping up the Tigers saying they could be top 8. I don't know about that.
I mean, I think they'll be better. I mean, Appy is the best hooker in the comp. Papali'i is one of the best back rowers. It's good pickups. I mean, they should be better. And I know, but Bateman, obviously
they were dreadful last year though. So I don't know how big that's going to be. Bateman, I'm not too sure about that one either. No, he's English, but
Well, at the Raiders, he was one of the best back rows.
That was a couple of years ago, though. So yeah, I have a couple of teams. I think
the Dolphins.
The Dolphins.
People are saying like they're gonna do all right, like be close to the end. I'm like, what are you looking at? This team is the worst thing I've ever seen.
No, I don't think it's going to be that bad. I think
they're going to be dead last.
I don't think they're going to be dead last. I just think the NRL,
they got nothing.
You got to create points in the NRL, and I just think their backline is terrible.
They have zero backs.
Their forwards are great.
Their forwards are old,
but they're still quality.
Kind of. They're like average quality.
Well, they're still Origin level players.
Not really.
I still think they've got a decent forward pack. It's just their backline. I mean, Milford and your shit player as well.
I mean, he was a good fill-in for us, but I wouldn't put my trust in the whole franchise on him. So, I mean, fullback, what, they're going to play the hammer? He's not a fullback. He's not proven a fullback.
Well, I think he could be a good fullback. I think
he's too weak and he doesn't try. So
you don't know. I think he just got into a situation last year where they found a better player in Drinkwater. At that fullback position, so I think he was sort of pushed out of that team instead of. I think he's a very talented player, so I think it's a decent pickup for them. So I don't hate the hammer situation, but yeah, they just don't have enough time.
They just lost like every single off contract player last year they were linked to, and they didn't sign any of them. So
the big boys they didn't, and that's the thing when you get a big time player like a Munster, you attract other players. Other players want to play with him for less money. So you didn't do that, and they didn't make any really statement signings. I know you got Kafusi, but is he a statement?
Kafusi, he's just an old grub at this point. He's useless.
Is he a statement at this point?
You got the Bromwich brothers that are all 33, 34.
Yeah,
he's like.
So I don't know, but it's going to be interesting to see if they can if they can develop that young talent they brought in, then maybe. But I definitely see them finishing not in the 8 this year, but
I reckon it's between them and the Dragons for the spoon.
The Dragons, really?
The Dragons, they literally have one player in their entire roster.
Yeah, but he's a great player.
Yeah, but you can't win a footy game with one player.
I don't know. I'm not too sure about it. Obviously, it changes throughout the year, or your predictions sort of change throughout the year. With the NRL, it's very hard to predict because you never know which sort of what coach is going to perform well, which sort of bargains teams have got that go under the radar. You just don't know. So yeah, I'm hoping the Roosters do well. Obviously, as a Roosters fan, so up the chooks, and hopefully the Cheese lives up to that hooker position and replaces Jake Friend, who we needed to replace.
Well, who retired 3 years ago?
Yeah, but we haven't adequately replaced him since. So hopefully we can put Brandon Smith in there.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to the 3-peat. I wonder if that's ever been done before. I don't know.
I don't think so, but it's not happening because the Roosters are winning. And we've had this debate last season. I did sort of say that the Roosters were their championship, their double was better than the
funny how we did this debate. Bloke in a bar literally did this exact same debate.
Oh, they copied us,
after
did they?
Us. They dead set copied us.
I don't think they know who we are, bro. I'm just
I'm just saying the ideas we're coming up with here. They're top quality stuff. So they,
good minds think alike.
Yeah, so they did that exact same debate, but they went through each player who played the grand final and did like fullback versus fullback, winger versus winger.
We did that as well.
Yeah.
We went through player for player, and if you don't say the Roosters have better player for player, then you're deluded.
Their conclusion basically was the Roosters were better.
Yeah, because we have better player for player.
But what they don't understand is
the team, the continuity,
the mass of good individual players doesn't equal the best team.
It does because we won back to back.
Yeah, but I'm saying our team.
We beat better teams. We beat the Storm with Cameron Smith and Billy Slater. You beat Penrith. No, you beat Parramatta.
Yeah,
with Mitch Moses, who you just slated off. So
we beat them by 50. So
and you got spanked by the Melbourne Storm when you played them in the grand final.
We lost by 6.
Yeah, but that first half you got spanked. So look, I'm not
young team though. So we're talking about the best iteration of the team.
Nobody likes Penrith because they shit the bed when they play for Origin. So no one likes your players, and everyone likes the Roosters players because they perform well in Origin. And if you look player for player,
do they? Mitchell Pearce. I mean,
he didn't play that double team.
Huh?
He wasn't in the team that won back to back. Brad Fittler. Oh, God, Brad Fittler.
Brad Fittler, good player, shit coach. Please leave.
No, let's not get into that. So, yeah, I mean, you go player for player. I mean, it's not even a competition, really. I mean,
well, I think it is. So.
Yeah. Oh, who are you taking, Teddy or your shit player?
I'm taking Dylan.
You taking Dylan over
Teddy's
Teddy?
over the hill.
Right.
Did you see him in the trial? He was dog shit.
Latrell Mitchell, are you taking him?
Stephen Crichton, mate.
Crichton over Latrell. Okay.
Do I want someone who's going to win the grand final with an intercept? Yeah, I do.
Okay, yeah. Latrell Mitchell also bullied Melbourne in those finals.
Yeah, I mean, Will Chambers is shit, so.
So, yeah, I think that the Roosters all-time team is better, but it's a debate. I think, obviously, Penrith won a lot of regular season games. And, yeah, they got somewhat lucky in some situations. We won't go into that, but it is what it is. I think
Penrith, not last year.
Penrith
last
should,
year, there was
we're talking
no
about this year. Penrith should be favourites, and hopefully it's a good competition and someone else can overtake them for the title.
Yeah, looking forward to it. We can shift gears, quickly talk about the cricket that's going on. Obviously, India are playing Australia in India, and India basically are destroying them. They're making them look like children.
Your team is so bad. Bazball is in full effect. We spanked New Zealanders. Is it on today? I'm not too sure. I'll double check it after the podcast, but I'm pretty sure that the New Zealand and England are playing somewhat soon. But yeah, anyway, Australia, India, they got absolutely belted in the first test, which was laughable. And then the second test, they actually put a competitive sort of first innings performance for both sides.
They should have won.
I think, what was it? They were winning by 1 run going into the second innings.
And then they were like 1 for 50 or something.
And then 1 for 50. And then, will be 7 for 90. So that wasn't too good. And your team sucks. And you have no future because all your players are old.
Is there a bigger home ground advantage than cricket? Because when you look at Australia, in Australia, they are unbeatable. And then they go to India and they look dreadful.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think that home field advantage does play a bigger portion because the pitches change.
Yeah, the pitches.
And the pitches change. But in football pitches or basketball, the pitches are relatively the same at the top level. But in India, you'll have pitches that are suited for spinners. In Australia, you have pitches that are suited for fast bowlers. In England, you'll have pitches suited for batting. You know, you'll have in different countries, you have different sort of pitches suited for that. And obviously, those players grow up playing on those type of pitches. So they understand that climate. They understand that field that they're going to play on. So, yeah, I think that it is a massive home field advantage. And look, India are great at home. England actually did pretty well against India in India. But, so I mean, just to say, but yeah, I think it is a massive... And India is just such a tough place to play. A really, really tough place to play. And Australia look a shell of themselves away from home. I mean... And you should be worried for the Ashes. We gassed up the Ashes that's going to be happening, I think, June or July or sometime. Somewhere around that time. We gassed that up saying that this might be the best Ashes since 2005. Maybe if it's because it's in England, I don't think it might be. I mean, I think England, the way England are playing at the moment, we're playing unbelievable. Our bowling, I think, is a bit dodgy at times, but Broad and Anderson are still going strong.
James Anderson just became world number 1 bowler at 40 years of age.
What a player. But yeah, I think our bowling's improved, even though they're a bit older. And I don't rate Jack Leach. I don't rate our spinners. But again, I think we've got a decent crop of fast bowlers, and our batting is unbelievable. I mean, Johnny Bairstow still is injured, and we're still batting this well. I mean, just the players that we've got. I mean, I don't rate Crawley, but he's awful. He looks like you.
No, he doesn't.
He's lanky and shit.
He's a Rainer, isn't he?
No, he might be blonde. Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, we got Duckett that has come in and played really well. He's very, very short, but he's funny.
Duckett?
Yeah, he's played in this. I think he played in the last test as well, and he played in this one. He's been fantastic. He played in Sri Lanka, I think. Did we play Sri Lanka? I can't exactly remember. But anyway, he played really well. No, it's Pakistan, sorry. And then we've got Ollie Pope. He's playing decent. He didn't have a great 2 tests against New Zealand, but half decent. And then Joe Root's not actually in good form at the moment, Joe Root. He's kind of going through his Virat Kohli sort of era at the moment. He's not doing too well. But hopefully he can sort of rise again. I know he's quality batsman. I think he's finding it a bit tough to adjust to Bazball, which is just high pace, high octane. And then Harry Brook and Ben Stokes have been unbelievable. You won't know who Brook is, but he's a really talented young player. He's scored, I think he scored like 300 in a row in Pakistan, and he scored 89 and 50 and 55 or something. And against New Zealand. So yeah, he's a really, really quality player. And hopefully we can sort of overcome Australia in the Ashes. And I'm so looking forward to it. I can't wait. It's going to be a great series for England, I believe. So hopefully we can spank them and get the Ashes back in where it belongs. So,
yeah.
But Australia, I don't see a future for you guys. I mean, do you? How many more tests?
Well,
is there
it's
in India?
going to be tough. There's 2 more tests.
Do you see you winning one?
I don't know. But obviously he's done for the series.
And his career.
Maybe his career. He might come back for the Ashes, and that's
Please
it for
do.
him, but
Please do.
he was not playing well. He was probably going to be dropped anyway, let's be honest.
No, he won Player of the Series, didn't he? He's fantastic.
Series. With one fluky innings. But Travis Head, they dropped him for the first game when he was like our best player all summer, which is very strange.
Yeah, apparently Matt Renshaw's godsend. I thought they cast him away from the team for so long, and now he's the best thing done since sliced bread.
Yeah, we're relying on Renshaw and Hanscom to come back into the team, which is, I mean,
he got kicked out 7 years ago. The guy sucks.
They had their go a while ago, but now they're back, I guess. Obviously, like Smith and Labuschagne, they're going to do their thing. They're getting it. Well, Smith's getting older at least.
Yeah, Smith doesn't look too good. Labuschagne will always look good, but actually, he's not looked that good against India. He's looked a bit dodgy.
Who else? I mean, the bowlers. We played one fast bowler in India.
Pat Cummins was terrible.
Yeah, he's not got it right. I mean, Stark's been injured, I guess, so that's
he's
something.
Old. He's old.
He's old, but he was still good last time he played. Hazelwood's injured as well, so
he's old.
Yeah, he's old. Boland is just a bit mid outside of Australia. So.
Let's be real. He's living off that England Test match. So and that Melbourne Test match. Sorry, in England. Oh, against England. Sorry. But yeah. I don't think Australia are that good. I know India's a very tough place to play, but outside of Australia, they've not really performed. And yeah, we'll see what happens in the Ashes.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Australia can still win, I think, but it'll be tough. I feel like it'll be the last hurrah for this team. Okay, so we'll chat quickly. Talk about Volk UFC. Obviously, I'm repping the boy, Bobby Knuckles.
Who's that?
Rob Whittaker.
Oh, I didn't know his nickname. I'm sorry, I'm a casual. I'm like you're a casual.
His nickname's the Reaper.
The Reaper.
He's got 2 nicknames.
It feels like he goes to decisions a lot. I don't think that's a good nickname for him.
He does go to decisions, but he kills his opponents.
But he doesn't though, because he goes to decisions.
Yeah, but he destroys them.
He destroys them mentally. Okay, I got you.
He hurts them and drops them.
I don't think he does. But anyway,
he literally drops all of them.
The main event. I watched it legally.
Legally?
Very legally. It was very legal.
Where?
Dana. It was the fight. I watched it legally.
Yeah, where?
On my phone.
Oh, okay.
It was very legal, Dana. Don't come at me.
You actually managed to find it for free? That's difficult.
I didn't. I said it was legal.
Okay. Because I used to go on like 10s, 20s, 30, 40 websites.
Well, I found a place where it's legal. But yeah, anyway, the fight, I think Volk won. I was talking to you earlier. You think Volk won as well?
Yeah, I think he won. I mean, I finished work at 4 or something. I sprinted up to the pub, and I was just standing there in like my red and blue shirt in the middle of the orchard with a backpack on by myself, watching this fight.
Can I have a beer, please?
No, I didn't order anything. I just stood there.
Didn't even order a beer at the pub.
I was literally just like shaking the whole time because I was so nervous. But yeah, I thought he won at the end of the fight. I mean, he fucked him up, let's be honest. He dropped him in the last round. He was punching his face through the canvas. So it's disappointing. Islam was good as well. I mean, it was a great fight. Islam
hugged him.
He did hug him. But that is technically winning the fight. So
but that's so stupid. That's why these friggin' Dagestani idiots are just roaming around the UFC, because they can get away, because they get points for hugging people. And look, they're great wrestlers, but they don't do jack shit when they're on the ground. Volk defended everything that he did. He didn't have a single... Did he have a submission attempt? I don't think he had a single submission attempt.
I mean, he attempted, but it wasn't close.
I think Volk did as well as you could do, really, against those Dagestani rats.
Well, I mean, yeah, his wrestling was incredible. He stuffed most of the takedowns and even like got Islam down a couple times.
And then he dominated. I look at the significant strikes numbers. You look at the amount of shots that.
Islam was competitive on the feet.
He was competitive, and people can't. Well, he hit harder. It's like, well, because he's frigging massive. He's way bigger than Volk.
Yeah.
So obviously his punches are gonna friggin' be more impactful, but when it goes to decision, it should matter somewhat, but you got to look at the total sort of body of work and the amount of strikes that Volk put on Islam, and he dropped him, especially in the fifth. So it's not like they're just like baby punches, but yeah, I can believe that he lost, but the fact that he won by a unanimous decision and a judge did it like, what was it, 49-46? I mean, that's a joke. That means that he believes that Islam won, 4 rounds?
Yeah.
That is, I mean, who thinks that? Who with a brain would
obviously
think that? And yeah, I think it's just the UFC credits takedowns too much. And
well, that's the thing. Like the judging criteria, it actually isn't like takedown doesn't mean anything. The number one thing that they look at is damage.
But they don't.
Apparently. But they don't really follow the criteria. So it is what it is. I mean, the big story coming out of the fight is, well, there's a couple of big stories actually, but obviously Volk stayed pound for pound number one, which I think he should have.
Unlucky, buddy.
Which is, the whole thing coming in was the winner's pound for pound number one, but they're like, nah, fuck it, Volk's still pound for pound number one.
He was robbed, so
because I mean, he's so much smaller than him, and he showed that he's probably the better fighter.
Yeah, he's a better fighter than him.
So I think it's well deserved that he stays pound for pound number one. A lot of dick riders saying, like DC's his mate, and he's like, I thought we were fighting for pound number one. So I think if you beat the guy, you are the guy. But
bro, shut up. You're a boring ass wrestler. No, he wasn't. He was a good fighter.
He was a good fighter. But yeah, he's obviously sticking up for his mate.
Yeah,
but
he doesn't train with Khabib and like.
Yeah, they're from the same gym. So yeah, I mean, well deserved for Volk. I think now Volk wants the automatic rematch, but I think the UFC want him to go down and fight Yair. Because did you watch that fight?
No.
Okay. So, well, Yair won the interim fight.
Wow.
And he looked really good as well. But and then also the other big story coming out. Have you heard this? That Islam apparently had an IV before the fight.
Oh, I did hear that, yes. Which is a bit dodgy. I heard a lot of UFC people talking about it, and they said it doesn't really have... I mean, it has a bit of an impact, but it's not really that important.
But it is illegal. It doesn't matter because if you've done it, it's a 2-year suspension. So
are they going to suspend it for 2 years? No.
No, they're not. Well, yeah, this is basically exposed the fact that USADA don't give a fuck and they literally just do whatever the company wants pretty much. So
probably, yeah.
Well, we don't know for a fact. We haven't seen that legitimate proof that he did have an IV, but...
We did see photos, but...
They sound pretty confident that someone in Islam's camp used an IV at some point. So... I don't know. There's an asterisk on the fight for me until we get proof either way that he did or didn't use an IV.
Well, he would have needed it because he cut the amount of weight that guy must have cut to get to the
I mean, he struggles a lot to make weight. So I don't know. I want to see the rematch. I don't know about you, but
well, yeah, I'd love to see it as soon as possible, really. But I think they might sort of push him down again.
I don't think Islam wants it.
Islam's like, I'm going to lose.
Yeah.
I give a chance.
I mean, I get to destroy Charles Oliveira. That was so easy. Or I have to fight this little midget who nearly destroyed me.
Yeah.
So
I mean, yeah, he was talking so much shit before the fight. He was like, oh, Australian guys can't wrestle. It's like...
He's so small. It's going to be easy.
No Australian guy is going to beat me at wrestling. And it's like, brother, you got beat. And he stuffed the majority of your wrestling moves. So
and you were gasping for air at the end of the fight. I mean,
yeah, if that fight goes another 3 minutes, you've lost. So yeah, I think that he was a bit lucky in that fight to get away with a victory, and I think he doesn't want anything more of Volk, to be honest. But we'll see. I think he's probably waiting for Conor. He's like, please Conor, beat Michael Chandler so I can fight you.
Well, they've started filming the show now, so.
I wish it was live. Why can't it be friggin' like live?
Live?
Well, not like live, but an episode airs every week, like a proper reality TV show. Like it's filmed and then it's put on air.
I think it'll be... I don't think it's too far away from coming out. Maybe a month or two or something. I don't know. But, yeah. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. I think that... So, because the Australian card was such a success, like, the crowd was amazing. The fights were great. They were, like... Apparently, it's the biggest pay-per-view ever in this part of the world. So, I think they're going to come back to Australia now a second time this year, which is exciting.
For what? Who do you reckon's Adesanya?
Depends. Could be Adesanya if he beats Pereira. Obviously Volk again. You could do a featherweight fight for Volk, Whitaker. So there's heaps of guys. Or they could even bring someone that's not Australian over here.
Conor.
I don't think Conor would come, but
I think he would.
I don't think he would. but maybe
You don't think you would?
You could
not for a championship.
You could maybe
fight,
maybe bring a bantamweight fight, maybe, or
oh god, he wants
maybe
to see
maybe
that
a Leon
shit.
Edwards. I don't know, but yeah, hopefully Sydney gets it and they go to a big arena so I can actually get
out
tickets.
of Perth, would you?
So,
gee, who made that decision? I mean, look, it was a good crowd, but it looked like it was for a musical theatre concert. I mean, it was tiny, that place. They need to go to a proper, and look, to be fair, Sydney doesn't have that many big arenas because even though we've got, was it Kudos Bank Arena or something?
Just go outside. Risk it for the biscuit. Who cares?
Risk it for the biscuit. Just go outside.
Yeah.
I don't know about that one. But yeah, our major stadiums are built for team sports and not for
you just
boxing
stick the ring
UFC.
in the middle and then.
But we already did that and it was so bad because everyone was on plastic chairs.
Who cares?
Going back friggin'
I'll
20
take
rows.
It. Better than nothing. I'll take it.
Yeah, but you can't see anything, so it's not that good. But yeah, hopefully it comes back to Sydney or Melbourne. I think they went back to Melbourne last time they did it, but hopefully they come to Sydney and put on a good show for everybody.
Yeah, sure. Okay, moving on. Do you want to do... Okay, so we'll talk about sporting docs. Obviously, at the day we're recording this, season 4 or 5, I don't know what season it is, of Drive to Survive is coming out. And it's just come to my attention recently that there's a lot of these sporting documentary reality, I don't know what you would call them, shows coming out, mostly off the back of the success of Drive to Survive, where basically the sport of Formula One has exploded because of this show.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, and me as a sports fan, I love it. I watch them all. But, like, I just watched the golf one Netflix did, and now I'm like, oh, I might like golf. This is fucked. But
No. That's too far. That's too far.
But yeah, they just released the golf one. They did the tennis one earlier this year, and they're all this same sort of style. I mean, there's the Dolphins documentaries coming out on Stan like next week. The Panthers have a documentary coming out this weekend. What other sports? You got the Arsenal one, the Tottenham one, Man City one. Like every team, every league, so many of these shows are coming out now. So the question is raised, is there like an oversaturation and where they're sort of losing their value and their prestige or their, I don't know.
Yeah, I think there is. I think there's definitely an oversaturation of... Look, I understand that you want to emulate the success that Drive to Survive had, but, I mean, golf. Come on, let's be real here. Nobody cares about golf. To play,
it's like
everyone loves to play it.
Yeah, it's one of the most popular.
Nobody likes to watch it because it's boring as hell. And if you get into golf from watching that documentary, you are just... Look, people said that maybe about Formula One. Nobody would get into it because it's just too repetitive. But it's very exciting as well to attend. If you were going to a Formula One race, it's crazy. And the whole weekend's insane. And I get the new fans that they want to drive new fans into it. But I don't know. It's just very oversaturated. You see a lot... And it's not sports documentaries because obviously there've always been sport documentaries about like famous teams and famous players and stuff like that. But it's this new sort of reality TV show sort of era. And I like them personally. But again, there is so many of them that it's getting to a point where it's like you don't know what to watch because there's just so many to watch. I don't mind the Prime ones, the Amazon Prime ones, where it follows the Premier League team. And obviously it started off really with the NFL with Hard Knocks. They sort of kicked it off with the reality TV show, sports show thing. So, yeah, I think it is oversaturated, but I do enjoy some of them.
Yeah,
I just think that the golf ones and the tennis ones, it's just, I don't know. I'll never be into those sports.
Well, yeah, see, I'm probably like the 0.01% where I'm like, anything, I'll watch it and I'll probably like it. So, just because I like sport that much. But, I mean...
So, if you watch badminton documentary, you'd be
no,
like...
I wouldn't do badminton. No, I wouldn't do
about
badminton.
Polo. Get in there.
No, but
polo.
Mainstream sports. But I think...
Swimming documentary.
I probably would do swimming, to be fair.
Really? You'd be like, oh, I'm going to go swim now. I'm going to go...
Well, when I watch the Olympics, I literally want to go swim.
I could make the team still, guys.
No, just for fun. But I think for golf and tennis, I think you wouldn't get as many of like the casual fans to tune in because they're already watching Drive to Survive or something else, and that's like their one show. I don't think they... I mean, I think it would be harder to grab their attention when you're competing against all these other things now. So I think there is a bit of an oversaturation, but I mean, what's the alternative? Like, are you going to not do it and then risk not getting these new fans?
Yeah, but and obviously you're going to try to do it, so there's no downside in really doing it other than a bit of cost, but not really. I just think I think it's just sort of diminishing the value of them. I think when Drive to Survive came out, there was really nothing like it other than Hard Knocks. But now it just seems like every sport, every major streaming platform's trying to get the next one, trying to get the next sports doco. And look, a lot of people enjoy them, but yeah, I don't know if the golf one did that well.
Well, it's in like it's like top 2 or 3 on the Netflix thing. You know, they show the top.
That's fake.
Things.
They just try to do that to promote the shows. But
well, yeah, I don't know how well it does, but
so yeah, I think it's okay. But look, I'm not majorly against it, but it is a bit oversaturated at this point.
Yeah, still keen to watch Drive to Survive tonight. Gonna sit down. I'm home alone, so I can get some takeaway.
What are you gonna do?
I'll eat some takeaway, maybe get some ice cream.
Anything else?
No, I won't do anything else.
So you just eat takeaway and ice cream. And
well, what else would I do?
I mean, I don't want to suggest anything, to put anything out there, but
I don't have anything else to do.
Well, I think I could think of a couple of things.
What?
Anyway, moving on.
We can... Well, I mean, this is kind of your idea that apparently South Park is very topical at the moment.
Yes, so South Park edits, I cannot get enough of them on TikTok. It's kind of... I have watched a couple of South Park episodes prior to this TikTok craze, but yeah, there's a couple of TikTok edits that just make me laugh like crazy. So I thought, why don't we do a top 3 South Park character? It's a trend as well.
We should get like South Park sound bites.
Okay. Well, we'll try to do that next time if we're more prepared. Oh, wait. It's only one time segment. But anyway, top 3 South Park characters. Mm-hmm. I've got my top 3. What are your top 3?
My top 3, I had Stan Marsh.
Stan!
Who's the dad. Who's
Is
funny.
it?
Huh?
Is Stan the dad?
Yeah, he's the dad. Well, there's a photo of him. It's like the dad with the black hair that wears like the bluey green shirt.
No, Stan Marsh is a kid.
No.
Stan Marsh is his kid.
No, it's a dad.
Yeah, it is.
Where?
Right there.
Oh, well, the dad.
Stan's dad, he means.
Stan's dad.
What's he talking about?
Yeah, well, the dad. I don't know. I feel like I haven't watched a lot of South Park, so I'm kind of just going with it here. But I feel like he's in like funny episodes. I feel like there was some like massive world orgy episode or something, and he was like the center of it.
Let's keep it PG, bro. Let's keep it PG.
Well, South Park isn't PG.
It is.
What do you want from me? Number 2, I had Timmy, who's the disabled guy.
Timmy!
Apparently.
Yeah, I love Timmy.
Yeah, because he's funny and he's disabled, which isn't funny. But
he's funny and he's disabled, which isn't funny.
But I remember there was one episode like about jokes. He was writing jokes, and then Cartman just stole them all, and he became like the most famous comedian in the world, just stealing this guy's jokes. So yeah, that was funny. And then number 1, I had Cartman, because even though he does piss me off.
Hang on. We were talking before the show. You said...
Yeah, but then I thought about it, so...
no, he backflipped. He wanted to appear as a public.
Yeah, Cartman, he's funny. He's the centre of all the funny jokes, even though he does piss me off with how dumb he is, but... Okay, before we started the podcast today, Oscar said that he didn't like Cartman because he went after Jewish people, and obviously Oscar is a fine Jewish young man. And he picked Kyle as number 1. So let's get that out. I was just like, Kyle's the main character, he's cool, but...
Eric, Cartman's goated. I don't know how you had... I think you just changed your mind because I did. I proposed it to you.
No, yeah, Cartman, he's funny. You can't deny it. He's at the centre of all the good jokes, so...
Yeah.
Just, shut up, Kyle, you stupid Jew.
Shut up, Kyle. Yeah, so my 3 is Jimmy. So Timmy's best friend, Jimmy. He's on the crutches. Very, very funny guy. Accidentally
Wait,
joined...
the same guy that I picked? No. Oh.
Jimmy and Timmy.
Are they both disabled?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Jimmy's on the crutches. Timmy's just in a wheelchair. So yeah, Jimmy's very, very funny. He talks very funny as well. So he's a little cutie. Probably my favorite episode with him when he accidentally joined the Crips because he thought it stood for cripples. Yeah, that was probably the funniest episode. And then my number 2, this was a toss up. It was really tough to pick between 1 and 2 for me. But with 2, I'll go Cartman, actually. I think Cartman's a great character. Obviously, probably, if you talk about memorable sort of moments from South Park, he's probably up there. And yeah, he's very funny, even though he's out of pocket a lot of the time. He just goes after literally every character, apart from my number 1, who is Butters. Butters is goated.
Why doesn't he go after Butters?
Because they're best buddies. No, they're best buddies. I mean, he kind of goes after everyone, but not Butters, really. He doesn't have a vendetta against Butters. Him and Butters are besties. So, yeah, Butters is just such a cutie. Everyone loves Butters. He's got great sayings. He once had a prostitution ring, which was pretty funny. And then, he's just a very, very funny guy. His parents are a bit dodgy, but he's a funny, laughable guy, and he's Eric's best mate. So, yeah, I've gone Butters number 1.
Right, fair enough. I mean, I wouldn't put a young child as my number 1, but...
What do you mean?
Well, he's just very young and small and
they're all very
innocent.
young and small. They're all in 3rd grade.
He's even younger.
Not really.
Yeah, he's like a little baby.
No, he's not.
Yeah, he is.
No, he's not. He's the same year group.
No, he's not. He's a young...
It's best mates. They're best mates.
No, but he's like a younger brother.
No, he's not.
He's younger, I swear.
No, he's not. The younger brother was Ike. Ike is the younger brother of Kyle.
Oh.
He's in kindergarten. Anyway.
Well, good list.
I know, my list is better.
This isn't a topic that I'm going to, like, be confident in my list on, because I'm not...
Yeah. Well, you went for Kyle.
Not
so
like that.
I think we all knew you had the Jewish little kid number 1, but that's okay. You can change your mind. Anyway, moving on. Is there anything else that you'd like to discuss?
I mean, quick little review of Hogwarts Legacy. I mean, we obviously talked about the game coming out. I can't remember if it was last time or the time before. But I've played it. I haven't finished it. I think I'm about halfway through or something. It's a very long game.
How many hours put into it so far?
I think I've got like 12 hours. I think I don't know how far through I am. It's a pretty long game. But I've been very surprised. I think the game's been very good, you know. It was obviously very hyped up. What we didn't talk about, we should have talked about, was the protests about the game.
Oh, that was funny.
How all the LGBTQI advocates or whatever, they were trying to boycott the game.
Well, I wouldn't say all. I think it's just
just the brain dead ones.
It's just a select few people that were sort of saying boycott the game and stupid stuff like that. Look, J.K. Rowling is pretty much a billionaire at this point. There is nothing that you could do to impact. She had no impact on the game directly. She just makes royalties off it. You're not going to make her poor by boycotting the game.
Harry Potter has nothing to do with, like, just because you like Harry Potter doesn't mean you...
Yeah, just because you like
J.K. Rowling.
Just because you like Mein Kampf doesn't mean you...
No, just because you like Germany doesn't mean you're a Nazi.
Yeah, I think that's different. But I think, yeah, it's a very sort of topical discussion on social media.
The thing is, she's not even that crazy. Like, when you look at her tweets, they're blown out of proportion, really. Like, she says she doesn't agree with how young people get, I don't know, assigned different genders, or they make decisions and they're not fully capable.
Well, she cares. She's just an author.
Yeah, I mean, it's really not that deep. So, but that obviously backfired because the game, I think it was the number 1 most watched game ever on Twitch.
It was, yeah. Which, look, it was bound to be a success. There's way too many Harry Potter fans out there for people not to buy it, even just for sort of interest levels, just to explore the Harry Potter world. And I think I don't have the game, but I've watched a lot of people play it. Chris Smoove, he's a avid player.
Speak of Chris Smoove is playing it.
Chris Smoove. Yeah, but he's it's a very interesting game.
See that splash when he like Avada Kedavra someone.
Oh, dude, he's a goat. But yeah, I think it's a very very detailed game, and I think the map's massive as well. So
yeah, it's huge.
So yeah, it's a really, really good game. I'll probably get it in a year's time when it's $30 on PlayStation Plus. So yeah, hopefully it sort of there's a sequel to it. Maybe. Do you reckon there'd be
I don't know. Maybe. I mean,
do you reckon they do it like I think I'd want them to do it like in the Harry Potter, or either in today's time or in Harry Potter.
That would be sick if it was during like one of the movies or something, or one of the books during like the time period of that.
Or maybe when Tom Riddle was at school.
Yeah, that would be cool. Like playing as a young Voldemort. Or maybe you interact with a young Voldemort.
Oh, yeah, maybe you're best mates with
because the I don't know, spoiler alert, the guy who teaches you the unforgivable curses is a Slytherin, obviously. But he's
the
like
ancestor,
he's a descendant of Slytherin.
He's not. Oh, it's of Salazar.
Yeah, he's a descendant of Salazar.
And so is Tom Riddle. So
yeah.
So basically, that his what is he? Great grandfather, probably. Tom Riddle's great grandfather.
I don't know.
It's something like that. I don't know, but yeah, it's pretty interesting. What house you joined? Gryffindor.
I joined Gryffindor,
which is a bit basic, bitch. I mean,
but I feel like it's not. It's become not because everyone was like, "It's basic. I'm not choosing it." So Gryffindor. I saw a stat that Gryffindor's actually the
second.
Or even third.
No, I saw a stat. It was, I think
Slytherin's first.
Slytherin was first. Gryffindor was second. Ravenclaw third.
Hufflepuff
fourth. But there's a lot of like funny like creators out there that are doing Hufflepuff that are just for rad and die with the Hufflepuff.
Yeah.
You know, it's just just to put Hufflepuff on the map. You know, but yeah, it's a very interesting game, and hopefully it gets a sequel in modern times.
I mean, in Harry Potter movies, apparently, so they've sacked off the Fantastic Beasts movies.
I couldn't
because they were obviously shit. So they're trying to do, the Cursed Child, like the play.
No.
Oh well, there's a Harry Potter play which is like a sequel to Harry Potter. It's like 20 years after or something, but it's with the same characters, and they're trying to make that into a movie with like the original characters the original cast coming back.
Ooh.
So that'll be cool.
That'd be interesting.
Except Daniel Radcliffe and Emma Watson fucking hate Harry Potter and they don't want to do it. So
why do they hate it?
Well, I don't know, because
I mean, their relationship was forced, but not.
What do you mean their relationship?
No, the Emma Watson and the ginger guy's relationship was forced.
Well, they don't hate the storyline; they just hate being associated with it.
But you're gonna be associated for the rest of your life. What has Emma Watson done outside of Harry Potter? Let's be real.
Beauty and the Beast.
Oh wow, what a great movie that was!
It was pretty big.
Another
movie.
Disney remake. Lovely. Daniel Radcliffe, he's got a couple of things on his resume. I don't know what Ron has been doing. Is he just?
He was just
He's chilling at home with his royalty checks.
Yeah, he hasn't done much, but he was just in a movie that come out with Batista. I saw lots of ads for that.
Well, to be fair, look, if I was in his position, I'd make so much money off royalties every year. I'd just sit at home and do nothing. I mean, the guy's got the life now.
Yeah, it's a good life. But he always, he's got like these massive bags under his eyes. He looks
tired.
So depleted
he's like,
all the time.
Oh my God, I could have had Emma Watson, but she friend-zoned me. God, it's so bad. But yeah, hopefully that movie comes out because it sounds very interesting.
Yeah. I think that's about it. Unless there's anything else.
No, I don't think there is. Well, look, hopefully Man United win the League Cup on the weekend. Hopefully the Clippers don't look awful with Russell Westbrook, which is bound to happen, but let's be real. Hopefully the Lakers missed the play.
Hopefully the Clippers missed the play.
No, but we're the fourth seed. You're the...
Yeah, but you're like 2 games
Hey, what
out.
seed are you? 13th?
Yeah, but we're like 5 games behind you.
You're the 13th seed.
All we need to do is go like 20-3.
Thunder are better than you. They've got like... Name 5 Thunder players for me.
Shea, Josh, I can get more. Baisley, is he on the team?
Yeah.
Who's their center? They have a young guy that's good. I know that.
Ooh, the whole team's young.
Yeah. They
Good
got
job.
that
So
guy.
that team's ahead of you, by the way. So yeah, hopefully the Lakers fall and capitulate again. So looking forward to that. And obviously NRL kicks off, F1 kicking off soon. Me and Oski might be checking that out. So, and we'll be previewing that. So hopefully the F1 goes well. So hopefully everybody has a very good week. And watch Man United. Hopefully we win.
Yep. Hopefully we win, guys. I'm going to be watching as well.
Follow us on all platforms.
Follow us and subscribe, most importantly. And yeah, that's about it.
Stay woke.
Hopefully enjoy your life. Stay woke, most importantly. We need to be woke.
All right. Bye-bye.